Good morning. We are here from Cape Coral, but that doesn't get me off kitchen duty, especially when I have these fresh ingredients, mangoes growing in my own backyard, and I'm so excited about it. So every morning I kind of come out here and I scour the ground to see if I have any nice fresh produce to use. And there's actually a few down here this morning. Some of them are a little still hard when I get them, so I've been sitting them on the windowsill and they get nice and juicy, and I've already cut up a few this morning for you guys to see inside. I'm making mango bread. So I've been cutting up these juicy mangoes. We're using them for smoothies, making bread this morning. I mean, just eating plain, they're amazing. And I'm just like beyond icing on the cake blessed that I have a mango tree in my yard. But I do want to mention I have some competition for the fruit. If you want to focus in on my little friend down here, he's actually a big friend down there. I'm going to walk toward him just so you guys can see him in action. Can you believe this? Oh my God. But in the meantime, there's lots of mangoes on the ground this morning. Look at these. This is perfect. It's already like a little bit soft. It's gorgeous. I can pick these green mangoes, but I don't need to. Green mangoes are delicious on their own, dipped in like a Thai chili sauce. They're amazing, but I'm going for the sweet ones this morning, and there's a lot to pick up. So, now that my competition is gone, I'm gonna gather some of these mangoes. This one's already did its thing, so I'll give this one to the birds and to my friend. You gotta get out here quick or they will rot, but if you get them as soon as they fall off, this is another perfect one, super juicy. We'll cut this one up together and just no holes, no damages. Perfect. I am beyond blessed and just so thankful. I get these fresh every morning. It's amazing. All right, this one, someone has started pecking at it. I could salvage this, but they've started their business, so I'll just give it to them. All right, let's head inside. We're gonna be baking mango bread poolside. I have already prepped the ingredients for you guys because I don't want to like bore you with all my like having to chop and measure and figure out where all my ingredients are. So I got some stuff already laid out, and I chopped up one mango already, two actually. I got about 1 cup of chopped mango per mango about this size. This is about 1 cup yields. But I wanted to, my recipe calls for 2.5 cups. I'm gonna go ahead and chop this one up live for you guys because I want you to see the process of what it looks like to cut up a really juicy mango. It's slimy, it's hard, it's like you don't want to slice your finger off type episode, but you guys need to learn how to do it. So come on in, welcome. This is where I'm staying for the summer. So like we said, what's cooking in Beth's kitchen, but what changes is the location of Beth's kitchen. My kitchen doesn't always have to be in the same place. So I'm gonna go ahead, pop these mangoes on the windowsill. We got some good ones today. This is the one I'm gonna cut up with you guys. But these are ready to go. I don't have to let these sit on the seal for too long because they are soft. And that's the best way. The other day, actually, this is a massive one, probably the biggest one I've seen so far. We picked this one because it's red. We would think that it's ripe and ready to go, but honestly, it was still just hard as a rock. So the secret in picking a great mango, you can look, this is juice, just from me picking two. I cut up 2 mangoes. This is 2 already, about 2 cups. And look at the juice that just flows when you cut these things up. So the secret is not in the color of the mango. First step in prepping your mango, peel it. So I'm just gonna peel it off. Any type of knife will do. Peel the thin layer of skin, and I'm peeling it right now over a grocery bag that I have all my rubbish in. You can use this for compost. It's fabulous compost. This, you just kind of peel like an apple. Just get that thin skin off, and when they're juicy and nice, this is not a difficult process at all. When it gets difficult is when you peel these in advance and then you're trying to cut them in chunks because you have literally nothing to grab onto that will give you any traction. So your work, like how in the world am I going to be gripping this juicy, see, I can't even hold on to it. It's like trying to hold on to a bar of soap, a wet bar of soap. It is crazy, slimy, juicy, but God, it's so amazing. Like the sweetness and tenderness of this. I'm going to show you how tender and nice it is. This is part of my secret. go ahead and just stick your finger in there. That's gonna give me my grip. There's a huge seed in the middle of this, so I basically just try to cut as much of a chunk as I can along that seed line. Here I go again, trying to get a grip right there on the seed line, and then I'm going to just slice this huge, nice halves. Like, these are the big chunks of the fruit. This is basically all the seed, but I do then go along the edges. This is now easier to hold because the seed is here. I can fillet the seed, even with my finger, you can just see it's just falling off the seed. But I try to take my knife and go down the seed line and get as much of this fruit off as I can, especially when I'm using it for like smoothies and stuff. I'll usually just like take the seed in my hand and just squeeze it and get all that juice out that I can. So look, we got raw seed right there. This whole thing, the seed goes from here to here. Basically the whole length of a mango is a seed, huge seed in the middle. But I have gotten this one pretty clean and I'm excited about it. So there's the mango seed. And now I've got these huge chunks of flesh I'm just gonna dice up. And they're just nice and moist and ready to go. So slide my knife through them very nice and easy. And I'm just gonna do this for you guys because it is so awesome. I'm just gonna take one and eat it. It is so good. My Lord. Even people that don't like mangoes are enjoying these because they are just at their peak ripeness, ripe on the tree, comes off naturally. I beat nature to them and just enjoy them. So here goes all my mangoes for my mango bread this morning. Got those in there. I'm gonna rinse off my hands and get to work. So like I said, I went ahead and laid out all my ingredients for you guys. So I'm over here. You want to get the camera just sitting up over here now? I mean, I don't mind if you hold it. I got actually, first time ever on my show, I have a camera person. Steven is behind the camera helping me because I wanted to go from the mango tree to the kitchen. But now that we're here, we can set it up. Want me to? All right, so here we go. I'm gonna put the camera here, and actually, I think I'm gonna reverse the camera. Look, there's our pool. Praise the Lord. I'm so happy we got a pool. Oh, I can't switch it now that we're in the middle of this. Okay. So here we go. I don't know if I'm gonna get a good angle or not because I can't see myself. So, the next step in this recipe, I'm gonna go outside and see if you can see. We're gonna do 2 cups of flour. And you guys know, even when I travel, let me drink out of my nice festive cup. I like to bring my own stuff from the house. This is the artesian flour that I purchased at a farmer's market in Kentucky before I traveled. So I'm gonna do 2 even cups of this flour. Good. And one more thing I'll get going before I even measure out the flour is my recipe called for 3/4 cup of veggie oil. But being the girl that I am, and I think what's consistent among my shows is the fact that I do what I want. And I do like to switch up recipes here and there. So instead of 3/4 cup of veggie oil, I am going to do a 1/2 cup, which is 1 stick of butter. And I'm gonna go ahead and get this going because I want it to be completely liquid. This isn't unlike the cookies where I just want it to be soft. Because since this recipe calls for vegetable oil, it's completely liquid. I want this to be liquid. I don't want this just to be soft. So I'm gonna pop this butter in the microwave. This is a 1/2 cup of butter. The recipe calls for 3/4 cup of veggie oil. So I am gonna go ahead and do another 1/4 cup of avocado oil. You guys know I'm a big fan of avocado oil. So we're doing a 1/2 cup of butter and a 1/4 cup of avocado oil in substitution for the 3/4 cup veggie oil that this recipe calls for. So there we go. Oh, I hear my butter sizzling in the microwave. It's still, even though it's sizzling, it's not liquid yet. So just gonna move it around a little bit. Okay, yes, we know you're here. And I'm gonna do another 30 seconds just to make sure that gets nice and good. Now, while that's going for 30 seconds, I can go ahead and measure out my 2, got this little case knife over here, because I'm gonna do 2 even cups of flour. So I'm just dusting off the excess. Boom, flour cup 1, dip it in there deep, overflow it. Then I'm just gonna scrape it down my knife 2 cups of flour. I'm gonna get this out of my way. That is one thing I love to do when, all right, there's a few little chunks in here, but after I start mixing this with everything else, it is gonna melt the rest of what's in here. So I'll go ahead and I'll dump my 1/4 cup of veggie oil in there with the butter. Throw that in the sink so I can blend this. Now all that butter's melted. It's not scorched or anything like that. So it's all melted. The veggie oil's in there. And I'm gonna go ahead and put my sugar. Now, this recipe calls for just regular white sugar, 1 solid cup. I'm gonna do a 1/2 cup of my sugar in the raw, which we've talked about before is like kind of my little secret ingredient, secret weapon, because you end up having this little bite of something. It gives texture to your stuff and a little bit of extra flavor. So 1/2 cup of that, because it's not just plain white sugar. You've got a little bit of like this molasses taste remains in there. Now I'm getting more to a sticky. This is a secret for getting a nice crust on your bread. If you want to have something a little chewy on your bread, and we're going mango today, I just feel like that's a appropriateness. I'm dividing up my sugar. So I'm doing a 1/2 cup of the sugar in the raw, and then a 1/2 cup of this brown sugar, because it's going to give me a tender gooiness, a crust on my bread. It's just going to be amazing. You're going to wonder, I mean, it's going to be a bread, like a banana bread texture, like a sweet bread. But with what I'm doing here, it almost could become like a cobbler. And that's another way amazing use for all of these fresh, juicy mangoes. Just the same as someone would make a peach cobbler in the summer. These mangoes make an amazing cobbler because they're just so juicy. All you have to do is add a little bit of flour and sugar, and presto, you're in cobbler central. 2 eggs I'm gonna go ahead and put in with my wet ingredients. So I got the eggs going with my butter, oil, sugar, 2 eggs, and I will say these are store-bought eggs. You guys know I have friends that like to supply me with fresh, farm fresh eggs, but I don't have those friends here. That is one of the things when you travel, you can find fresh ingredients. So today I had fresh mango, but I don't have friends yet that own chickens in this area. So I took what I could get fresh, and then I had to buy what I don't have the hookup with at this point. So regular store-bought eggs instead of farm fresh are gonna have to do for today, but I'm telling you, this mango is just gonna make it worth it. The recipe itself does not call for vanilla, but me, again, I do what I want. I want to make this right. I'm putting in this vanilla extract, which does have Maui vanilla beans that I purchased on Maui. You guys, I don't need to be a spokesperson for traveling and getting life experiences in that way, but I'm telling you, I'm rich because of the places I've got to be, the people I've got to meet. And you add to your thing. So I could be doing this recipe that I'm doing right now anywhere in the world, but I have all of these like insider things. Maui vanilla bean, because I've been there, I live there, I love it. Same thing, we're gonna be adding some macadamia nuts straight from the islands. The Hawaii brand right there. See them? I got these at Costco in Maui, but they also sell local products in Costco when you're there. So I got 2 cups of flour. I'm gonna move back over to my dry ingredients. The recipe calls for 2 teaspoons of cinnamon. I just like to dash it in there. So even if a recipe doesn't call for cinnamon, I usually put in my breads a few dashes. I really like that flavor. So I'm just being generous. 2 teaspoons is kind of a lot. If I had my choice, I would be getting a fresh cinnamon from like an Amish store somewhere. I'm yet to find that, but I'll look for it. My salt, I will measure out. I only need a 1/2 teaspoon of my salt. This is a sea salt. I also love the pink Himalayan salt. If you just got Morton salt, that's fine. Whatever you need, but salt really does make a difference. It helps you taste your stuff. It just enhances the flavors. So salt is a good thing, even in sweet recipes. 1/2 teaspoon of salt in there. And then our rising agent on this recipe is 2 teaspoons. And again, I will measure out this. 2 teaspoons of baking soda. Ooh, I'm losing spoons. So I have been in this house in Florida for a week. Today makes a week. 2 teaspoons. but I travel with my stuff, as you can see. This house was really well equipped. These teaspoons are not mine, but a lot of these ingredients are from my house because I know what I want to do when I get somewhere. And I like to make a house my home. You'll see lots of episodes of Beth's Kitchen on the go. I cook with my friends at their houses, at houses I rent, at my own house. So wherever I'm gonna be, we're gonna be mixing up something amazing. So I think we got everything we need in the dry ingredients. 2 cups of flour, 2 teaspoons of cinnamon, 2 teaspoons of baking soda that can help our bread rise. And then we're gonna do half teaspoon of salt. That's it. Now we got into our liquid ingredients. I did, in substitution, was supposed to be a 3/4 cup of veggie oil. I am actually doing half a stick, or a full stick of butter, which is half a cup, supplement with a 1/4 cup of avocado oil. To that I added half a cup of sugar in the raw, half a cup of brown sugar. You could just do a 1 cup of white sugar if you wanted to. Then lemon juice, one thing I forgot, but I'm gonna do the lemon juice to my mangoes. So this is what's really, I mean, a lot of the breads you'll see, the recipes, you need milk or something more liquidy, but these mangoes are so juicy and there's so much moisture that literally you just need to add the mangoes, not a lot of extra juice, because these will really saturate your recipe. And if you put in too much anything else, it's gonna, you're not gonna have bread. It's just gonna be too gooey. Let me get the lemon juice. YouTube choice, you guys get to pick. Do I do the 100% lemon juice or do I just squeeze some fresh? Usually this is the easy way and I would do it, but you know what? I'm feeling crazy. I already have my cutting board available because I was using it to dice up the mangoes. I'm gonna rinse off some of the extra juice. And then I'm just going to roll my lemon. That's another secret. You wanna release the juices of your lemon by just rolling it on a hard surface. So that you're pre-squeezing all those juices out of the cells inside of your lemon right here and now. So that way when you cut it in half, it's already just gonna be squirting out these natural juices. So my recipe calls for 1 teaspoon of lemon juice. That's not much. So I'm actually just going to cut about 1/4 of the lemon. This is left over. I don't need this. This little section, including all this that literally has nothing in it, is going to be enough for my entire recipe. I don't see any seeds in here. I'm just rinsing my hands, and what I'm gonna do, I'm just gonna squeeze this lemon naturally over my fingers so I could catch any seeds that could potentially come out right over here. And that's gonna be enough. That's what this recipe is calling for. Just enough little citrus in there to keep these mangoes fresh and to give a little zing to our bread. Now that's rubbish. Boom, got my rubbish bag. I'm gonna toss my mangoes around with that lemon juice. And I'm gonna keep them over here to the side while I just incorporate my dry ingredients into my liquid ingredients. Give that another little whirl. My sugar kind of settled on the bottom, so now we're going. Can we see that? Get out of y'all's way. Here we go. I think that's probably a better angle for you. Get my dry ingredients going. Yes, yes, yes. Okay. The recipe that I pulled from online for this mango bread called for raisins. Now let's have real talk about raisins. Who likes them? Raise your hand. Well, I'm not gonna hate on raisins because I actually like raisins, and there's a time and a place for them. The place I like raisins the most is like in cereal. I like raisins in cereal. I like raisins in my oatmeal. Just gives that little sweet surprise. But honestly, in my bread or my baked goods, no. I'd rather have something to crunch, like nuts. So instead of raisins, I also thought, I have a bunch of different chocolate chips and white chocolate chips and things like that. I thought about adding white chocolate chips to this recipe, but then I stopped myself because I'm like, first of all, I want this to be more of a natural sweetness with the mango, and the mango is sweet enough. I just don't need any more of that. So I'm gonna let the mango do the sweet job, but I am gonna do the add-in of what I showed you before, these nuts from Maui, and because I feel a little bit tropical, I'm gonna toss in a little bit of coconut flakes. So we're in the end, we're gonna have this sweet mango macadamia coconut bread. And this kind of reminds me of a dinner that I enjoyed the other night. We went out for a fresh seafood meal and it was amazing. I'll go ahead and give a shout out to Lady Lobster in Cape Coral. They did it right. We were celebrating. This is actually the first time we've gone to sit down in a restaurant since March. So with things, we've been in quarantine and things starting to reopen, we had a celebration for my aunt's birthday. She chose that spot, she picked it out, and I ordered a macadamia nut, coconut crusted mahi. It was awesome. So that inspired me today to kind of mix those flavors. Tossing in some nuts. Again, I don't need to measure. If I was being careful, I'd probably chop these a little bit more because they are a little bit like big chunks of nuts in there, but that's okay, I can handle it. I'm just gonna sprinkle, probably, if I had to guess, we're gonna do about half a cup of this coconut. So, get that rummaged in there. We have our coconut. You can even see already how just juicy this recipe is because of these mangoes. It's just juicing all over the place. So we'll get this rolling. What I'm picking out, it's actually funny. I have mini chocolate chips that fell out of my coconut bag because I froze this coconut with a bag of mini chocolate chips, and the mini chocolate chips spilled all over the place. So that's what I'm pulling out, little remnants of mini chocolate chips. So we good. Now that's it. The mango bread's together. I'm gonna pour it inside of the pan, which I've already set out. I bought this huge stack of reusable casserole aluminum pans, and we've been using them. Grill stuff, about to bake some bread, just serving at night. So I do want to spray this a little bit. You guys know, well, I have a choice here. I could do this canola oil spray, and I'm tempted to do it, but just sticking true to who I am, I'm not going to do it because you guys know I don't really like that spray and I don't believe in it. So I'm just going to go ahead and toss some avocado oil in there as my non-stick assistant. And then grab one of these very festive napkins because I'm out of paper towels at the moment. And these cute. I buy this little silly stuff, like this particularly I got at a place called Christmas Tree Shop. Because anytime I go somewhere or do something, even if it's at my house, I like to make it special. So even these little decorated napkins just kind of like bring one more level of fun to whatever it is I'm trying to do. So now I got my pan moisturized. Gonna dump the bread in here, and we're gonna let it bake. So typical loaf pan, this would take about an hour, but this is absolutely not a typical loaf pan. This is a huge casserole dish, so it's going to actually help the ingredients get a little bit more spread out, so the bake time will not be as long. I do have a spatula, I can scrape this a little bit better. Grab it. Oh, here we go. So, rinse my spatula. We used it last night for breakfast. We had breakfast for dinner last night. So I'm just rinsing off my spatula so I can use it to scrape out the rest of this bread dough. And because this recipe is telling me that I need to cook this in a regular loaf pan, and I know the bake time on that is an hour, I'm just gonna guess on this one. I'll show you how deep it's getting in this pan after I get all the rest of this scraped into that. I'm gonna guess I'm gonna start with putting my timer on 30 minutes, okay? You can always add time, but if you cook it too much, you cannot undo that. So why not just check on it? I might actually check on it at 25 minutes, just because I like my stuff moist. I don't want it to get overcooked. So this is about half of the depth of this big casserole dish. So this is gonna be it, you guys. It's heavy, it's gonna be yummy. This is my mango bread, about to go in the oven. And I'll go ahead and sign off here. Thank you for watching the special edition of Beth's Kitchen by the Mango Tree. We'll have some pictures later for you guys to see how this goes and more episodes. I've already gotten the ingredients to make a fresh salsa and a fruit. I got fresh mango, of course, onion, cilantro, and pineapple. I'll do a tropical salsa by the pool. We're gonna go do poolside salsa making. So keep on watching. Mango bread on the way. Thank you guys for watching live from Cape Coral.